Hollywood is not short on talented stars, but it also has its fair share of tragic stories about actors once beloved who are now behind bars. Their stories are a blend of glory and downfall as they face the consequences of the dark deeds that shook the entire industry. In today's video, we'll explore 15 of the most notorious actors in Hollywood who are currently incarcerated, from big-name celebrities to forgotten figures and the luxurious estates they once owned, now left to fade into the past. Can they redeem themselves, or will they forever remain a part of Hollywood's dark history? Let's dive into this story. If you find the stories of these Hollywood stars intriguing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with more captivating tales. Do you think these actors can redeem themselves, or will they remain trapped in the shadows? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Shannon Richardson was once a promising actress, known for her small roles in popular TV shows like The Walking Dead and The Vampire Diaries. While she wasn't a huge star, she had begun to catch the industry's attention. However, instead of continuing to shine in acting, Richardson shocked Hollywood when she was arrested in 2013 for sending deadly poison-laced letters to President Barack Obama, New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg, and several others. Initially, she claimed she was framed by her ex-husband, but evidence told a very different story. Her fingerprints were found on the toxic letters, and suspicious computer activity exposed the truth. After being sentenced to 18 years in prison in 2014, she remains incarcerated today. Richardson's tragic story serves as a reminder that fame cannot protect anyone from the punishment of justice. Jeffrey Jones was once a familiar face in iconic films like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Beetlejuice, where he played powerful and humorous roles. With a career spanning several decades, Jones established himself as one of Hollywood's standout actors in the 1980s and 1990s. However, his career plummeted in 2002 when he was arrested for possession of child-related material. In 2003, he pled guilty and was sentenced to 5 years probation, along with being required to register as a sex offender for life. Hollywood quickly turned its back on him, and the career he had built over the years crumbled in an instant. As of April 2025, Jones remains a pariah, a stark reminder that even a solid career can collapse in the blink of an eye due to a single, unfortunate mistake. Stephen Collins spent decades building a respected career in Hollywood. His roles, often portraying integrity and moral values, helped him establish a strong, reliable image. Born in 1947 in Des Moines, Iowa, Collins began his acting career at a young age, honing his skills on stage before transitioning to television and film. However, his defining role came as Reverend Eric Camden in Seventh Heaven, where he played a model father, a moral pillar for his family and community. The show became a symbol of family values in American culture. But Collins's life changed forever when allegations about inappropriate behavior in his personal life surfaced, leaving the public and his colleagues stunned. This scandal tarnished the image he had worked so hard to build throughout his career. The wholesome image Stephen Collins built throughout his career was shattered in 2014 when a leaked recording revealed him admitting to inappropriate sexual behavior with 3 teenage girls during the 1970s and 1990s. Although no criminal charges were filed due to the statute of limitations, the scandal led to Seventh Heaven being removed from the airwaves, and Collins's career abruptly ended. Despite publicly apologizing and expressing regret, the revelations of abuse completely destroyed the legacy he had built. This scandal became an inseparable part of the public's memory and was revisited in the 2025 documentary series Hollywood Demons, which brought forth heartbreaking stories of victims like April Price. The image of the model father, a symbol of morality, is now a stark lesson in how misdeeds can devastate both a career and a life. Harvey Weinstein was once one of the most powerful producers in Hollywood, co-founding Miramax and the Weinstein Company. He was behind iconic and successful films like Pulp Fiction, Shakespeare in Love, and The King's Speech. However, Weinstein's impressive career collapsed in 2017 when a wave of women accused him of harassment and sexual assault. While these allegations had been rumored for years, they were never fully exposed until articles in the New York Times and the New Yorker paved the way for over 80 women, including famous actresses, to speak out. These accusations sparked the #MeToo movement and ignited a global conversation about sexual abuse and accountability. In 2020, Weinstein was sentenced to 23 years in prison in New York, and in 2022, he was sentenced to another 16 years in Los Angeles. As of April 2025, he remains incarcerated, serving nearly 40 years in total. Weinstein's story now serves as a reminder of the dangers of power and fame and the power of courage in bringing wrongful actions into the light. Joe Son was once a familiar face with a comedic role in the 1990s film International Man of Mystery, where his character, a parody of James Bond's strange work, impressed fans with his quirky weapon, a shoe. Although this was a promising start to a career in comedy, everything quickly took a darker turn. Instead of continuing with memorable roles, Joe Son spiraled into a path of scandal, with his career being marred by persistent controversy. His story now stands as a cautionary tale of how a promising career can quickly descend into ruin when wrongful actions are exposed, transforming from a bright future to an irreversible downfall. Joe Son, born in South Korea in 1970 and raised in California, developed a passion for martial arts and created his own discipline, Jo San Do. After trying his hand at MMA and participating in UFC 4 in 1994, where he lost, he continued to pursue opportunities in the entertainment industry. However, his life took a dark turn in 2008 when, while serving a probation violation, his DNA was linked to a brutal gang-related case from 1990. In 2011, he was convicted and sentenced to life in prison, and in 2017, he was found guilty of murdering his cellmate. Today, Joe Son is remembered not for his minor role in Austin Powers, but for the horrific crimes he committed. His story serves as a reminder that fame can quickly be overshadowed by dark truths. Danny Masterson rose to fame with his role as Stephen Hyde in That 70s Show in the 2000s, becoming a star with his deadpan acting and rebellious attitude. However, his image as a sitcom star was overshadowed by serious allegations of sexual assault from 2001 to 2003, making him a central figure in the #MeToo movement. His relationship with the Church of Scientology raised suspicions that the organization might have attempted to silence the victims. Although he continued his career after the show ended, in 2017, he was fired from the ranch on Netflix, and in 2020, formal charges were filed. While Masterson maintained his innocence, the 2023 trial dramatically shifted the narrative. With heartbreaking testimony from the victims, he was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison in September 2023. As of April 2025, Masterson remains incarcerated, and his case has become one of the most high-profile abuse scandals in Hollywood, marking a significant shift in the industry, demanding accountability for everyone's actions, regardless of their fame. Shelley Mal was once a notable name in the comedy film The 40-Year-Old Virgin, 2005, playing Aziz, one of Steve Carell's quirky colleagues. Though his role was small, his sharp comedic timing and memorable interactions helped make the film a box office hit and left a lasting impression on audiences. Born in Kerala, India, in 1964 and raised in Texas, Mal built his career from stage plays before entering Hollywood in the early 1990s. However, his promising career was overshadowed by an act of violence in 2008. In a fit of jealousy, he brutally attacked his ex-girlfriend, Kendra Beebe, stabbing her over 20 times. The severe assault left Beebe with both physical and emotional scars. Mal was arrested shortly after and sentenced to 12 years to life in prison in 2010. The case ended his career and created a dark legacy, completely tarnishing the humorous image he once had. Michael Jace was once a respected actor in Hollywood, best known for his portrayal of LAPD officer Julian Lowe in The Shield, a role praised for its depiction of inner conflict and morality. Born in 1962, Jace built a solid career with roles in both film and television. However, in 2011, his life took a dark turn as he faced massive debt and severe financial struggles. The mounting financial and emotional tensions led to a tragedy on May 19, 2014, when Jace shot and killed his wife, April Jace, at their Los Angeles home, in front of their 2 young children. After admitting to the crime, Jace was arrested and sentenced to 40 years to life in prison in 2016. His story serves as a stark reminder of how desperation and personal conflicts can lead to irreversible consequences, destroying not only a family, but a career as well. Skyler DeLeon was once a child actor with dreams of becoming a Hollywood star, known for a small role in the popular Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series. However, DeLeon's career quickly fizzled out as he faced rejection, financial struggles, and personal disappointment. His ambitions took a dark turn in the early 2000s when he and his wife, Jennifer Henderson, orchestrated one of the most brutal crimes in recent California history. Desperate for money and direction, DeLeon and his wife planned a murder to seize the victim's assets. From a promising child actor, DeLeon is now remembered only for the heinous crime he committed, marking a tragic downfall. This brutal crime shocked the community, especially as the Hawks family was deeply beloved. Once the truth was uncovered, DeLeon was arrested and sentenced to death in 2008 for double murder. His accomplices also received similarly harsh sentences. From a promising actor, DeLeon is now only remembered for his cruelty. As of April 2025, he remains incarcerated in California, serving as a reminder of how ambition, distorted by greed, can lead to horrific crimes and the lasting pain they cause to innocent families. Sean "Diddy" Combs once stood at the pinnacle of the entertainment industry, with a legendary career as a producer, fashion mogul, and actor. With major successes in launching hip-hop artists and his own celebrated music career, Diddy built a powerful empire based on influence and opulence. However, on September 16, 2024, his perfect life was thrown into turmoil when Combs was arrested at a hotel in New York on a series of serious charges. Prosecutors accused Diddy of leading a criminal organization, coercing women into sexual acts, and trafficking individuals for prostitution. Behind the glamorous exterior, raids on his properties have revealed a world of abuse and manipulation. Diddy has denied the charges, claiming to be a victim of a politically motivated attack. However, the severity of the case cannot be ignored, and he has been denied bail twice. As of April 2025, Combs remains incarcerated at the Metropolitan Detention Center, with the case being closely followed. If convicted, he could face a sentence of up to 15 years to life in prison. A career built on influence and fame is now under threat, with allegations that could change the way the world views one of the most iconic figures in music. Ryan Grantham, once seen as an up-and-coming star in Canada's entertainment industry, shocked the public with a brutal act of crime. Born in 1998 in British Columbia, Grantham began acting at a young age and quickly gained attention for his natural on-screen presence. He appeared in popular shows like Supernatural, iZombie, and Unspeakable, and had a small but memorable role in Diary of a Wimpy Kid. However, behind the spotlight, Grantham struggled with severe mental health issues, including depression and suicidal thoughts. Although his friends and family noticed changes in his behavior, no one could have predicted the tragedy that occurred on March 31, 2020, when Grantham shot and killed his mother, Barbara Waite, at their home in Squamish, British Columbia. After the murder, Grantham filmed a confession and loaded weapons into his car, intending to travel across the country to assassinate Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. However, before carrying out any further violence, Grantham turned himself in to the police. In the 2022 trial, prosecutors presented evidence that the murder had been premeditated, and ultimately, the court convicted Grantham of second-degree murder, sentencing him to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 14 years. His story serves as a grim reminder of the harsh realities of mental health issues and the severe consequences they can lead to. Oh Young-soo, internationally famous for his role as Player 001 in Squid Game, experienced a dramatic fall after serious legal allegations. Born in 1944, he was highly respected in South Korea for his contributions to theater before becoming a global star thanks to his role in the hit Netflix series. In 2022, after accusations of unwanted physical contact from a woman, Oh denied any wrongdoing, claiming his actions were unintentional and not of a sexual nature. However, the public and media could not overlook the seriousness of the case. After the investigation was reopened, Oh was convicted of indecent assault and sentenced to 8 months in prison, though the sentence was suspended for 2 years, accompanied by an order to complete 40 hours of sexual violence education. As of April 2025, Oh is still under legal supervision. His story serves as a reminder of the fragility of fame and influence when confronted with personal accountability. Bill Cosby, a symbol of American entertainment, was once the star of television shows and sitcoms, creating the image of an ideal father and the epitome of the American family in The Cosby Show. However, his legendary fame and career collapsed when sexual assault allegations, spanning from the 1960s, erupted in the early 2000s. In 2005, Andrea Constant accused Cosby of drugging and assaulting her, a case that was later settled out of court but garnered significant attention. In 2014, comedian Hannibal Buress publicly criticized Cosby, leading to a cascade of new accusations, with over 60 women sharing similar experiences. In 2018, Cosby was convicted on 3 counts of aggravated sexual assault, becoming a symbol of the #Me Too era's reckoning. From a respected star, Cosby is now remembered for the crimes he committed, marking a pivotal moment in the fight for justice. Amy Locane, a rising star from Melrose Place, shocked the public when her name became associated with a fatal drunk driving accident in 2010. After driving with a blood alcohol level well above the legal limit, she crashed into the car of Helen and Fred Seaman, causing Helen's death and severely injuring Fred. Locane admitted the pain and loss her actions caused, but prosecutors emphasized that the accident was entirely preventable. Although initially sentenced to only 3 years in prison, the sentence was criticized as too lenient. After several appeals, she was resentenced to 8 years in prison in 2020. Amy Locane's story serves as a powerful warning about the devastating consequences of drunk driving. underscoring how a reckless decision can ruin lives in an instant. Jim Gordon, a talented drummer and renowned artist, made significant contributions to music in the 1960s and 1970s. As a member of the Wrecking Crew, he recorded with legends like the Beach Boys, Joe Cocker, and Eric Clapton, leaving a lasting impact with the famous track Layla. However, Gordon's music career was threatened by a long struggle with undiagnosed and untreated schizophrenia. His life took a tragic turn in 1983 when, in the midst of a psychotic episode, he attacked and murdered his mother. Gordon was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 16 years to life in prison. Although his mental illness was a factor in his defense, he was not allowed to use an insanity plea under California law at the time. Gordon spent the rest of his life in prison and passed away in 2023, becoming a haunting example of how untreated mental illness can destroy even the greatest talents. While his music career remains, it is forever overshadowed by the tragedy of his life. Josh Duggar, once famous for his role in the reality TV show 19 Kids and Counting, witnessed a stunning public downfall when he became embroiled in several serious scandals. Born on March 3, 1988, Josh was the eldest son in the Duggar family, the child of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar. He grew up in a conservative Christian household, raised with strict religious values. From a young age, Josh became a prominent figure in the Duggar family's highly conservative lifestyle, particularly through their TLC show, where the family shared their daily lives with the public. Off-screen, Josh was also involved in politics, working as a lobbyist for the Family Research Council, a group that advocates for conservative Christian values. However, in 2015, his squeaky clean image came crashing down when reports revealed that he had molested multiple underage girls, including some of his own sisters, when he was a teenager. Although his family and local authorities had known about these incidents for years, they were never addressed publicly until the media exposed them. This scandal led to the cancellation of 19 Kids and Counting, and Josh resigned from his political position. However, the scandal didn't end there. Another shocking revelation emerged when it was discovered that Josh had an account on the infidelity website Ashley Madison, and he admitted to cheating on his wife, Anna Duggar. He later checked into a rehab facility, citing an addiction to pornography and personal issues. But the most serious legal trouble came in 2021, when Josh was arrested on charges related to receiving and possessing child pornography. Prosecutors described the material as some of the worst they had ever encountered. In December 2021, Josh was convicted and sentenced to 12 years and 7 months in federal prison, followed by 20 years of probation. He is currently serving his sentence at FCIC Goville, a low-security federal prison in Texas. Josh Duggar's downfall is considered one of the most shocking examples of hypocrisy in the reality television world. He was once promoted as a symbol of innocence and faith, but his actions were completely at odds with the values preached by the Duggar family. Josh's legacy will forever be tarnished by his crimes and betrayal. Abandoned homes of celebrities. As fame fades, fortunes collapse, and the spotlight moves on, there are celebrity homes that now stand as forgotten relics. While they could be bought for just $1, no one dares to own them. From pop stars to film legends, these once enchanting estates are now haunting ruins. But is the real reason they've been abandoned due to strange histories, astronomical repair costs, or is there something darker lurking when we uncover the shocking truth behind these homes? If you find the story of these legendary homes intriguing, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more dramatic tales. Could these ruins be brought back to life, or will they remain just memories? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next shocking chapter. One of the most iconic examples is Bruce Lee's house, a martial arts legend whose spirit still lingers in the walls of his old mansion on the outskirts of Los Angeles. Designed in the late 1960s, this house was not only a retreat for a celebrity, but also a place where Bruce Lee sought peace and inspiration. Today, the house still holds the marks of greatness, but perhaps no one dares to enter, as the haunting presence and mysterious stories hidden within remain. The grueling training sessions and obligations in Hollywood Bruce Lee's mansion, with its sweeping views of Los Angeles and sleek minimalist design, reflected Lee's philosophy of balance between simplicity and strength. But like Lee's short yet iconic life, the story of the mansion took a tragic turn following his sudden death in 1973. The house, once a serene retreat, has now become an eerie reminder of a life cut too short. Though the property has had several owners over the years, no one has been able to escape the dark reputation that seems to have cast a shadow over the estate. The costly repairs and rumors of strange occurrences have caused potential buyers to steer clear. Despite being listed for a fraction of its original price, the house remains largely unchanged, with its once pristine interior faded and forgotten. The mansion may symbolize a life cut short, but it seems that only a few are brave enough to revive it. What was once a reflection of a superstar's life now stands as a relic of a past filled with glory. Tom Cruise's estate. Tom Cruise's sleek, modern estate, built in the early 2000s, sits on the hills of Los Angeles. It was the perfect property with expansive glass walls, an infinity pool overlooking the city, and cutting-edge design that embodied the luxury of Cruise's golden era. The estate once hosted exclusive parties with the rich and famous, beneath dazzling crystal chandeliers. However, after the owner moved out and endured a bitter breakup, the estate quickly fell into disrepair. Like a once famous actor fading from the spotlight, this mansion has become a forgotten relic. The lush gardens have now grown wild, the once glossy marble floors are cracked, and the windows that once reflected the LA skyline now only show signs of decay and neglect. Despite the attractive price, potential buyers are deterred by the high maintenance costs and whispers of lingering bad energy in the shadows, making it unlikely that the house will ever find a new owner. Bert Reynolds and his Florida estate. Bert Reynolds, a symbol of charm and natural charisma, once owned a stunning estate in Florida. Built in the 1970s, this mansion sat on the pristine shores of Hobbs Sound, featuring a large pool, lush gardens, and expansive terraces overlooking the water. It was the perfect retreat for the star known for roles in Smokey and the Bandit and The Longest Yard, and also served as a gathering place for Hollywood stars and the entertainment elite. However, like many other stars, Reynolds' career eventually declined, and the estate quickly fell into neglect. What was once a symbol of wealth and allure has now become a symbol of faded fame. The grand rooms now stand empty, and the iconic pool, once filled with laughter and luxury, now sits abandoned. Although the property has been listed for sale, the marks of its decay still haunt the house, preventing it from finding a new owner. Celebrity mansions, despite being listed at surprisingly low prices, remain unsold. This is mainly due to the high maintenance costs and the unpleasant histories tied to them. Will these faded symbols of fame find new life, or will they forever remain monuments to a bygone era? Only time will tell. Johnny Depp and his estate in France. Johnny Depp's sprawling estate in the south of France, purchased in the early 2000s, was a dream for him, a place to escape the chaos of fame. With its Gothic turrets, winding staircases, and lush vineyards, it was a luxurious retreat for a famous star. However, legal battles, poor financial management, and personal troubles led to the estate being abandoned. The grand halls, once filled with the laughter of Hollywood stars, are now silent, and the opulent furniture is covered in dust. Despite the reduced price, few have shown interest, deterred by the enormous costs to restore the estate and the heavy shadow of Depp's troubled past. Will this estate ever be revived, or will it remain a symbol of decline? Michael Jackson and Neverland Ranch. Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch, an amusement park and zoo nestled in the Santa Ynez Valley, now stands abandoned, eerily reflecting the haunted legacy of the king of pop. Built in the mid-1980s, it was Jackson's private paradise, where he hosted lavish parties and created memories with children. However, as Jackson's personal and legal troubles grew, the ranch became a burden rather than a retreat. After Jackson's death in 2009, Neverland was left to decay, with rides and furnishings gathering dust. Despite multiple price reductions, the estate has failed to sell. Burdened by its controversial past and exorbitant restoration costs, will this land ever be revived, or will it forever remain a testament to the rise and fall of a pop legend? The mansion of Cher's Malibu Mansion, purchased in the 1970s, now stands as an eccentric relic reflecting the diva's glamorous past. With sweeping ocean views and meticulously manicured gardens, the estate embodied Cher's rock and roll lifestyle. She hosted lavish parties here and used it as a retreat to recharge. The modern design of the house mirrored her bold, vibrant, and unique personality. However, like many iconic moments in Cher's life, the mansion eventually became part of Hollywood history, a forgotten monument witnessing the decline of a golden era. The mansion of Courtney Love. Courtney Love's Los Angeles mansion, nestled among the hills, was once the retreat of a captivating rock star. With its mid-century modern design and sharp angular lines, the home reflected Love's bold style. The expansive grounds were the setting for wild parties, filled with the energy of her career's peak. However, as Love's personal struggles escalated, the house became a symbol of her unraveling career. The eclectic interior, once full of life, is now forgotten. The luxurious pool now sits empty, cracked tiles and stagnant water marking the mansion's decline. Despite being listed at a reduced price, the ownership changes have failed to breathe life into the property. Will anyone be willing to take on this relic, or will it remain a monument to a life teetering on the edge? After Courtney Love sold the property in the late 1980s, her mansion went through several ownership changes, but no one was able to maintain the allure it once had. The once vibrant interior has faded, and the expansive gardens have become overgrown. The property's once glamorous past now seems like a distant memory, overshadowed by the ever-increasing maintenance costs and the uncomfortable associations with past owners. Despite the reduced price, the mansion remains unsold, too expensive to restore and weighed down by the glory of its past. What was once a retreat for stars is now a crumbling monument to a bygone era, unlikely to ever reclaim the spotlight of fame. Pablo Escobar's estate. Pablo Escobar's estate, once a symbol of unmatched wealth and power, now stands abandoned, a decaying reminder of the Colombian drug lord's reign. Hacienda Napoles, built in the 1980s, was Escobar's personal playground, complete with a private zoo, a grand mansion, and lavish grounds. The estate hosted extravagant parties where Escobar flaunted his wealth by bringing in exotic animals and building complex structures like a private runway. However, after Escobar's empire collapsed and his tragic end in 1993, the estate slowly deteriorated. The zoo, once home to rare animals, was abandoned, and the mansion began to decay. The once grand rooms are now silent and forgotten. Despite being listed for sale several times, the estate has yet to find a buyer. The remnants of a dark history, coupled with the enormous restoration costs, make it unlikely that this property will ever find a new owner. Hacienda Napoles and the blood-soaked legacy. Hacienda Napoles, the estate once a symbol of Pablo Escobar's unmatched wealth and power, now stands abandoned, a cold reminder of an empire built on blood and illegal assets. Despite the steep price reduction, the violent legacy and corruption tied to this property remain a burden no one is willing to bear. The estate may forever be a monument to Escobar, reflecting not only the rise but also the fall of one of the most powerful men in history. Its dark legacy has made every attempt to find a buyer futile. Nelly's Mansion in St. Louis. Rapper. Nelly's mansion in St. Louis, once a symbol of his early success, now stands as a forgotten reminder of past glory. Purchased in the mid-2000s, the home reflected Nelly's lavish lifestyle, featuring a large pool, stylish design, and spacious interiors. It was not just a house, but a bold statement of the success of a music icon. However, as Nelly's career began to slow down and he shifted his focus to other ventures, the mansion started to fall into neglect. Rooms deteriorated, and the once glorious pool grew dark and lifeless. Despite significant price reductions, attempts to sell the property have failed due to the high costs of renovation and ongoing maintenance burdens, leaving the mansion to fade into obscurity. No longer drawing interest. Birdman's mansion in Miami. Birdman's sprawling estate in Miami, once the beacon of hip-hop royalty, stood as a clear symbol of the highs and lows of his career. Purchased in the early 2000s, this riverfront mansion was designed to reflect the luxurious lifestyle of Brian Williams, the founder of Cash Money Records. With expansive living spaces, floor-to-ceiling windows, and a private dock for luxury yachts, the mansion was the perfect venue for Birdman to entertain music stars and business partners. However, as Birdman's financial troubles mounted, the mansion began to lose its initial allure. Once a symbol of success, the estate has now become a stark reminder of the fleeting nature of wealth, with its value declining and neglect becoming increasingly evident. Aleister Crowley's house. Boleskine House. Boleskine House, once the home of Aleister Crowley, one of the most enigmatic and controversial figures in mystical history, now stands as a decaying relic of dark mysticism. Purchased in the 1920s and located by Loch Ness, this mansion was once the perfect setting for Crowley's occult rituals. However, after his departure, Boleskine House quickly fell into disrepair, with its once pristine gardens becoming overgrown and chaotic, and its elegant interior deteriorating. Despite significant price reductions and being listed for years, the house remains unsold. With its dark reputation and high restoration costs, Boleskine House may forever be forgotten, unable to escape its haunted legacy. Madonna's mansion in the Hamptons. Madonna's estate in the Hamptons, once the epitome of allure and style, now stands as a faded reflection of a lavish era. Purchased in the 1980s, This mansion served as Madonna's sanctuary during her peak career years. With opulent interiors and a pool sparkling under the New York sun, it was where she sought privacy, hosting intimate gatherings and creative sessions. However, as Madonna's career evolved and her personal life shifted, the estate began to deteriorate. Despite multiple price reductions, the property failed to attract a buyer. The high maintenance costs and renovation burdens have made the mansion irreparable, slowly fading into the past of Madonna's legendary rise to fame, likely never to recapture the spotlight again. Steve Jobs' estate. Steve Jobs' Palo Alto estate, a minimalist masterpiece, now stands abandoned, a stark contrast to the visionary innovation Jobs once defined. Designed by architect Marco Peavy, this house perfectly blended cutting-edge technology with sleek modern aesthetics. It was the place where Jobs lived in the 1990s while rebuilding Apple from the ground up, a creative space that reflected his genius and obsession with perfection. However, after his passing in 2011, the mansion lost its original grandeur. The marks of innovation and Jobs' creative spirit are now forgotten in the stillness of the house, no longer echoing the footsteps of the groundbreaking ideas that changed the world. Liza Minnelli's penthouse. Liza Minnelli's penthouse in Manhattan, once a symbol of charm and Broadway legend, now stands abandoned, a relic of a bygone era. Located in the heart of New York, this luxurious apartment was Minnelli's refuge during the 1970s and 1980s, where she hosted intimate gatherings and exclusive parties. However, as her career slowed down, the apartment began to deteriorate. Despite its prime location, the high maintenance costs and the weight of its history have made it impossible to sell, even after multiple price reductions. What was once a symbol of brilliance on stage is now just a faded memory of a time long past. Boris Becker's estate. Boris Becker's estate in Wimbledon, once a symbol of the success and luxury of the tennis legend, now quietly stands as a testament to his decline. Purchased in the early 1990s, this sprawling Georgian-style mansion was where Becker sought peace and privacy, away from the spotlight of sports. However, after Becker went bankrupt in 2017 and faced legal battles, the estate began to deteriorate. Despite being listed at a reduced price, the property has failed to sell, burdened by its association with financial controversies and the high cost of restoration. What was once a symbol of victory is now merely a relic of a forgotten legend. Robin Williams' estate. Robin Williams' estate in Paradise Cay, California, once the sanctuary of one of Hollywood's most beloved stars, now stands abandoned, a poignant reminder of a life as multifaceted as the man who once lived there. Purchased in the late 1990s, this home provided Williams with the peace and privacy he sought, a place to escape the chaos of fame and find creative inspiration. However, after Williams's tragic passing in 2014, the estate lost the vibrancy that once filled it with laughter and warmth. Despite efforts to sell, the house has failed to find a new owner, largely due to the emotional burden left by Williams' death and the property's deteriorating condition. Betty White's estate in Brentwood. Betty White's Brentwood home, once a reflection of her warm and down-to-earth personality, now stands as a quiet reminder of the life and illustrious career of this beloved star. Purchased in the 1960s, this house was White's sanctuary, a place where she could relax and escape the spotlight. However, after Betty White passed away in early 2022, the house was left empty, and the warmth that once filled it faded. The once thriving garden now appears overgrown, and the lovingly decorated interior shows signs of age. Despite its significant value and prime location, the home remains unsold due to rising maintenance costs and its strong connection to White's legendary past. The future of the house remains uncertain, serving only as a testament to her legacy, waiting for a new chapter that may never come. Dean Martin's estate at Trousdale Estates. Dean Martin's estate in Trousdale Estates, once a symbol of Hollywood's golden era, now stands abandoned, a reminder of the past glory of the Rat Pack icon. Purchased in the 1960s, this villa was a sanctuary for Martin, with its open design, expansive pool, and panoramic views of Los Angeles. It was the venue for lavish parties and gatherings with some of Hollywood's biggest stars. However, after Martin's death in 1995 and several ownership changes over the years, the house could never regain its original charm. The once enchanting interiors and outdoor spaces have deteriorated, with high restoration costs and its connection to Hollywood's past deterring potential buyers. What was once a symbol of luxury now remains a relic of a bygone era, with an uncertain future ahead. Tommy Lee's mansion in Malibu. Tommy Lee's California mansion, once a symbol of the extravagance and wild lifestyle of the Motley Crue drummer, now stands abandoned, a distant memory of a legendary era. Purchased in the 1980s, this Malibu estate was perfectly designed with a large pool, private beach, and open spaces ideal for parties, where wild rock and roll stories unfolded. However, as Lee's career and personal life took unpredictable turns, the estate began to deteriorate. Despite numerous price reductions, the mansion remains unsold due to the high restoration costs and its association with Lee's tumultuous past. What was once a rock star's paradise is now just a relic of a bygone era, waiting for a new owner that may never come. Jason Derulo's estate in Miami. Jason Derulo's Miami estate, once a lavish statement of his musical success, now stands abandoned. Purchased in the early 2010s, the sleek contemporary mansion with glass walls and a large pool reflected Derulo's extravagant lifestyle. It was a place where he could relax and entertain between chart-topping hits. However, as Derulo's focus shifted, the estate was increasingly neglected. Attempts to sell the property have failed due to the high restoration costs and its association with a once glorious past that no longer draws the attention of potential buyers. The mansion, once the shining home of a pop star, now stands as a relic of a bygone era, with an uncertain future, as no one is willing to undertake the lavish renovation it needs. Frank Sinatra's Twin Palms estate. Frank Sinatra's Twin Palms estate in Palm Springs, once a lavish retreat for the Hollywood legend, now stands as a poignant relic of a bygone era. Purchased in the 1940s, this mid-century modern home, designed by renowned architect E. Stewart Williams, served as a private sanctuary for Sinatra, where he escaped the public eye and composed many of his timeless songs. The large pool, with a palm tree growing straight through the center, became an iconic symbol of his extravagant lifestyle. However, after Sinatra's death in 1998, the estate began to deteriorate. Despite passing through several owners, no one has been able to restore its former magic. Although it has been listed at a reduced price multiple times, the home remains unsold due to high maintenance costs and its aging structure, which is difficult to repair. The estate now serves as a testament to a glorious past, waiting for a new owner that may never come. Jane Mansfield's Pink Palace. Jane Mansfield's Pink Palace, once the glittering beacon of Hollywood, now stands abandoned, a faded testament to the turbulent life of the iconic star. Purchased in the 1950s, this striking pink mansion in Beverly Hills reflected Mansfield's larger-than-life personality, with its lavish design and curvaceous architectural features, much like the actress herself. It was where she lived and hosted scandalous parties, serving as the backdrop to the glamorous yet notorious life of one of Hollywood's most alluring icons. However, after Mansfield's tragic death in a car accident in 1967, the mansion lost its former splendor. Despite several attempts at restoration, the estate was eventually sold and demolished in the 1980s to make way for modern developments. The Pink Palace may no longer exist, but its legacy lives on in the hearts of fans, serving as a poignant reminder of the fleeting nature of fame. The lesson of fame and decay. These legendary homes stand as undeniable proof of a truth we can't ignore. No matter how grand, fame and fortune can fade into oblivion. The stories of these estates teach us that success is never guaranteed, and everything can change in the blink of an eye. We sometimes forget to consider the cost of fame's aftermath, but don't let that scare you. Let it remind us that nothing lasts forever. So, what's the lesson here? Success, no matter how grand, can fade quickly. Can we separate the art from the artist? Should we continue enjoying their films or erase them from Hollywood history? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Which story shocked you the most? And do you believe justice has truly been served? If this video surprised you, hit the like button, subscribe for more unbelievable stories, and share it with those who still think Hollywood is all glamour and allure, because sometimes the scariest roles aren't in the movies, they're in real life.